Well, now that I have all my Christmas presents done, I guess I need something to put them in, don't I? The Christmas creation continues. Good morning, everybody. It's Stephen here for Bland Designs and the Idiot Quilter, and welcome to my weekly vlog for Monday, November the 7th, 2022. And it's vlog number 289. So let's get right into some of the projects that I have been working on. And let me just switch my screen over to that. Okay, it's here somewhere, and here we go. Okay, so I finished my candy cottage. It's an in the hoop embroidered design. I have several of these that I have made over the last couple of years, and this is another one to my collection. They look really nice at Christmas time, and you can put a little tea light inside them and they will glow a little bit, just sort of a soft light underneath them. So that's done. I love making those kind of things, as you well know. And what else have I got to show you here? If I can get this thing to move over. Yeah, I finished my scrappy Christmas quilt. I did add the extra borders on the sides to make it not so long and skinny. And it is all embroidered. It's all quilted, and it's bound, and it's could be a gift. I don't know. I kind of like the way it turned out. The design is a little bit different in the way that I laid it out, but it was a scrappy quilt. So it does look like there's symmetry to this. And that was sort of on purpose, but not completely. But it is finished. So I don't want to make any more Christmas quilts. I have way too many of them. I have a ton of them in my crawl space as well that are stored in there with the Christmas decorations to come out, well, the end of this month, I guess. I'll start thinking about all of that. So anyways, that's done. And now I'm making Christmas tote bags. And I'm doing these, they're quilted. I do them on Lucy first, like a big piece of fabric, and get it layered, quilt it all, and then I cut out the pieces that I need, and on the pieces, and there is a front and a back to this, you're only seeing the front, I do the embroidery. Now Walter says this looks too busy. Yeah, it might be, but this was more of an experiment than anything else to start with, and it did turn out. So it's one of the collection, and I've made a second one as well with a little different design on the front of it, but using the same background fabric, quilted fabric. I did go to Ultimate Sewing this week, or this past weekend, and I picked up 3 meters of 3 different Christmas fabrics that are less busy. So that will probably suit the purpose for the bags I make here on Anne. My goal is to get enough bags made so that the gifts that I made and everything for the ladies at Ultimate Sewing, each will get their gifts in one of these bags. I think it'll be nice. It's Christmas time. I think you can be a little over the top at Christmas time, can't you? So anyways, those are what I have been working on this week, and that takes me to the YouTube channel of the week. It's called Life in Looks, and I stumbled upon this by accident. It has nothing to do with quilting. It has to do with fashion and celebrities, and here's what I mean. This week's YouTube channel is actually a playlist that comes from a fairly famous YouTube channel, which is one created by Vogue. Now, Vogue, of course, everybody knows, is synonymous with high-level fashion. I don't usually follow YouTube videos that have anything to deal with fashion, but I stumbled upon Bette Midler talking about different looks she has had over the years. And this led me to this playlist, and the playlist is called Life in Looks. And they take famous celebrities and they have a photo album in front of them that shows over the decades their various looks, their various costumes, things like that. And I find it very, very interesting. So you're listening to a celebrity talk about what she or he was wearing for what event or for what movie or for what music video, that kind of thing. And they're very candid about the look as well. So it gives you a little bit of insight into how celebrities dress. How do they come up with the outfits that they wear? Do they come up with them on their own? Do they have help? Or are they just told they have to look this way? So if you want something a little different, if you're interested in fashion, if you're interested in celebrities, then I suggest you check out Vogue's YouTube channel and their playlist, Life in Looks. And you will find a link for Life in Looks in the show notes below. You will find links to all of the videos I put up in the past week, including Stephen and Walter Live. We had a really long but good session. At least I thought it was a good session yesterday on Stephen and Walter Live. So if you missed it, you can catch the rebroadcast of that. But we talked about a whole lot of things yesterday. And you know what I really love about Stephen and Walter Live is we just go with the flow with what people chip in with. And there are always a lot of really interesting points of view and interesting conversation starters, the whole bit. I really enjoy that, and I hope you do too. And if you've never seen a Stephen and Walter Live, well, this might be the one to check out. Okay, and there is the what I call the permanent link, Zoom link, to Sew With Me. Yes, if you've been trying, thank you for trying. The last 2 weeks, just every day has been filled with something. I am hoping to be able to do something like this, that like activate the Zoom link one day this week. Probably Wednesday, no guarantees about that, because I've got a lot happening this week too. It's just, you know how things happen. You go for a long period of time and nothing's going on, and then suddenly it all comes at once. Well, that's the state I'm in right now. But yes, I am still carrying on with that, and thank you, and sorry if you keep clicking on it and I'm not answering. I'm not being rude, I'm just not there. Okay, so that takes me to looking out my front window today. I think it does, if I can find it. And here we are. If I get the right button pushed, there we go. So you will notice something a little different today. Light. The last few pictures I've taken outside have been relatively dark, and it is approximately the same time as when I've taken the other pictures. It's because we had a time change. Of course, we do in Ontario, and other places in the world do as well. So we fell back 1 hour on Sunday, early Sunday morning, and that's the new time we're at. So now it's a little lighter earlier during the day, but it's going to get darker earlier at night as well. That's the trade-off with this. I don't know if we really need this kind of, is this daylight savings? I guess it is. I don't know if we really need this anymore in modern society. I could understand it when, people didn't have the electrical lighting systems that we have today. Especially gave the farmers a few more hours of daylight so they could see what they were doing and things like that. But I don't know, in this modern day and age, I don't know if we need it, and it confuses a lot of people. And there's some places in North America and maybe other places in the world, I don't know, that don't bother anymore. I think it's Saskatchewan. They don't do it at all. They got rid of it a few years ago. And I think we should too. And it has been proposed to our government, but in our government's ultimate wisdom, they don't want to change anything there. They're changing everything else, but they don't want to change that. So who knows? More about the government, because right now I have a bone to pick with them. Actually, it's not a bone. It's a major contention. But we'll talk about that in a moment. But anyways, it looks like it could be a nice day today, and I'm looking at my weather here, and right now it's 8 degrees Celsius, and the high is supposed to be 12. So I think that's a little closer to seasonal. I think we're still a little warmer than we usually are this time of the year, but I don't know what usual is. That's another pet peeve I've got. Yeah, sorry, I'm getting on a little off topic here, but I said to Walter the other day, the news, the media it just blows everything out of proportion. So they talk about our weather being unseasonably warm and that this hasn't happened in this many years. And then there's this and that about the weather, storms of the century, and all this kind of stuff. And then it all comes down to global warming. Now, I'm not saying there isn't such a thing as global warming, but what I am saying is everything is blown, I think, a little bit out of proportion when you hear it from the media. And yeah, more about that too in today's topic. But, we can't control the weather. One of the few things, I guess, that man is unable to control. We obviously can't control disease very well. We've found that out, haven't we? The hard way. And we can't control the weather. The weather is just that, the weather. So comparing it from one year to the other year, every year is a little unique. Okay? Mother Nature doesn't really follow a pattern, but they want us to believe she does. I know the science community out there are going to beg to differ with me, but so be it. Anyways, enough about that. Let's go to what's really pissing me off this week, and this one's major. Now, for those of you that do not live in Ontario, Canada, this won't mean a heck of a lot to you, although I am sure there are echoes of what I'm about to talk about within your own community. Right now, we have a major strike going on. It's from one of the unions, one of the big unions called CUPE. CUPE, amongst other things, looks after the educational support workers. What's an educational support worker? Those are the secretaries, the custodians, the educational support staff, people who help out with kids with special needs and things like that. They are essential to the school system to keep the system running smoothly. And right now, they are on an illegal, they call it an illegal strike. Well, let's back it up. First of all, they are a union. Their contract ran out after 4 years, and they do what every union does. They're negotiating with the government because government is basically their boss for the usual things: pay increase, benefits, working conditions. This is not anything new. All people, whether they're in the public sector, the private sector, when they, private sector maybe not so much, but if they don't have a union, but this is normal. This is how it works, okay, with unionized employees. They negotiate their contract for a certain period of time. And those issues that I just mentioned are always on the table. Now, they started off with an opening bid that they wanted 11 point something % wage increase every year for the next 4 years. Well, immediately everybody got up in arms about it. Holy crap, you want the sun, the moon, the stars, and everything else with that. The media was just slicing through all of this and even blowing it out of more proportion. And what the media wasn't telling people is this: what happens when you go into a negotiation at the beginning stage of it, one side always comes in high, and the other side always comes in very low. Two extremes. But then there's something called negotiations. And the whole point of negotiations is to hit a common middle ground that everybody can live with. But if you come in too low, your other side's going to come in even lower, and you want some increase, obviously, or you wouldn't be negotiating a contract. And of course your boss doesn't want to give that to you. So it starts off with both sides being extremely opposite ends of the spectrum. But over time, with negotiation, the whole bit, they come to a happy medium. Well, that's the way it's usually done. Not right now. Because what's happening right now is the Ontario government are playing what I call Putin politics. They're being tyrants. They have dug in their heels and say you're not getting a penny more than a 2% raise each year for over 4 years of your contract. But they put stipulations on that. If you make under $39,000 a year, you will get that. If you make more than that, you're not going to get the same. Well, let's look at what the average salary is for a support worker, an educational support worker. 39,000. So the government is saying, we're not going to give you anything, or we're going to give you little bits and pieces and crumbs. Now, the inflation rate right now is at about 7 or 8% for the cost of living. Okay? If you give people 2%, that does not match cost of living. Cost of living, meaning, do you have enough money to feed your family, to put shelter, give them shelter, to pay for utilities? If the cost of living is at 8% and you're only getting 2% raise, no. You're forcing people into poverty. Already, and I know for some people in other parts of the world, $39,000 Canadian a year sounds like a lot of money, but it's not. Canada is expensive to live here, wherever you live in Canada, and especially in Ontario. So, this is not fair. They will not budge. In fact, before negotiations really even got started, the government was already forming legislation, a law, to say that any strike action that CUPE members took would be considered illegal and finable. Finable at $4,000 per day, $4,000 per day per member of the union. If you're making less than $39,000 a year, $4,000 a day goes beyond a slap on the wrist. So, what's the reaction of the union to this? They're on strike. Yes, it's an illegal strike, so sue us. See what you can do with that. That is a, there's an expression for this. It's smoke and mirrors on the government side. They're threatening. They will not go through with it. They won't go through with it because there will be major, major riots and protests within this province if they do. Already the schools have said they started the illegal strike action on Friday. Schools were closed in most parts of Ontario because they have learned, the schools, the school boards have learned that when your support staff goes out, all hell and chaos breaks out in your schools. The teachers cannot keep the school clean. That is not the teacher's job. The teachers can't do their job in a dirty environment. The teachers can't do their job if the secretaries aren't there as administrative support. The teachers can't do their jobs for their students if they don't have educational support workers, period. So some people may think, well, it's just custodians and secretaries are not that important. They're extremely important in a school. The first thing you want to do when you walk in as a teacher into a new school is to get to know your custodial staff and get to know your secretarial staff, because they are the backbone of the school. You want to be on the right side with them because they are necessary for you to do your job. And I have the greatest respect for all custodians and all secretaries and educational support workers. I don't know how the educational support workers do their job. I could not do that. The things they have to put up with from children who are, special needs, which is a polite word of saying, they are mentally challenged in some cases, they are physically challenged. These kids sometimes, extreme autism, they can be violent. Not because they want to be, it's because it's part of their condition. They physically hit these people, spit on them, throw up on them, cause all kinds of havoc. A teacher with a class of 35 to 40 kids in it cannot meet the needs of a special needs student in their classroom. And yes, they integrate them into the regular stream. So these people that work with those kids, that help out with those kids, are essential. So what a slap in the face. How disrespectful of our government. These are essential workers. But this is what our Ontario government is doing. They're going to be out striking again today. Parents are scrambling, according to the media. Again, the media takes everything and makes it the disaster of the century. And so parents are scrambling to have people to find ways to look after their kids. Okay, here's what I say to that. And I don't care what anybody else says. And you can always say, well, you're not a parent. You wouldn't know. Yeah, I was a parent. I was a foster parent as a teacher. I had a lot more kids than the average person ever had in my career. And I dealt with them. And yeah, if you're not a teacher, you walk into a classroom, I dare you, and try to take over for one day what the average teacher has to deal with. Yeah, you'll be running before lunch out, screaming your head off to the nearest bar. I can tell you that for certain. But um, these people, they're going out again today. They have my full support, and I hope that they break the government. It's going to be tough, but parents have to support them. Yeah, okay, you had children. They're your responsibility. You had them. Your children are nobody else's responsibility. Screw that old adage, it takes a village to raise a child. No, it doesn't. It takes good parenting. And good parenting means looking after your own children, putting your own children first, because you had them. They're your responsibility. So don't be crying that you can't get them into a daycare or find a babysitter, because a lot of these parents treat the school system as a giant daycare. And then don't give me the argument, well, both parents have to work, so one can't be at home with them because you can't afford your living. Yes, you can. Maybe not at the style you would like to have it at, but, priorities. Figure it out. Your children are not mine, nor the government's, nor the school's responsibility. They are yours. So suck it up, Buttercup. But even more so, look at the bigger picture. Yes, a little bit of discomfort, a little bit of disruption in your life, but it's not going to last forever. What will last forever are the damaging effects of support workers leaving the education system because they just can't survive on what the government is paying them. And so a crisis is being created in the education system on purpose by the Ontario government. They're doing the same thing with the healthcare system. Nurses are leaving. There's not enough doctors. Emergency areas of hospitals are overflowing. There's not enough beds. All of that stems from, not from what doctors do, what nurses do, what hospitals do. It all stems from our Ontario government. Putin politics. Doug Ford is an a-hole. He's a stupid, stupid man. He does not, and his whole Conservative Party have no idea what they're doing. Well, what do they have to worry about? They all have money. They all come from either as lawyers or doctors or business people. Yeah, because you have to have money in order to be in politics, because the average person can't afford to go into politics. So, yeah, talk about your entitlement right there. Even and Doug Ford is using the rights, the Charter of Rights and federal laws or things there to make what he considers the right move to, keep these people from striking. There's a clause, the notwithstanding clause, which I don't totally understand, but basically it removes our rights as humans in Canada. We have a human rights code in this country, and he is blatantly refusing to recognize that and undermine it. And even our prime minister has weighed into this, and I wish our prime minister would weigh into it more. Problem in our country is our provinces have more power than they should have. They really do. And I think Americans can probably identify with that too, because the states themselves, the individual states, tend to have more power than the federal government. And I don't know if that's necessarily a good thing. But time will tell how this all works out. And I can tell you this, if there's money to be contributed to the QP workers, to these frontline educational support workers in the schools, I will donate. I don't put a lot of money into charities, but this I would definitely help. Well, I support them. I support them. So if you're a secretary, if you're a custodian, wherever you live, whether you're Canadian or someplace else, whether you're in Ontario or someplace else, let you know that I support you. And I hope everybody who watches this vlog this week does the same. They are absolutely essential. They deserve a living wage and they deserve our respect. Okay, moving on. New product. Yes, I do have a new product to show you. And here it is. We bought a grow light system. We don't have anything planted in there yet. Walter just got it set up the other day. But I happened to see this in a catalog that I get. And then we went and explored other options and found it for $100 less, the same one, on Amazon. And essentially the reason why we have it is because you know that we do container gardening in the spring and the summer. And some of those plants, like the pepper plants, they take a long time to grow. So we're thinking, if this works out, this is our theory, we're going to see how this works out. We're going to start with some herbs and see how those respond. And then come early spring, we'll start seeding some other plants that will eventually get transplanted to the containers outside. So we'll see how this works out. I have it on a timer. So it comes on at about 6 o'clock in the morning. It'll go off at 11 o'clock at night because according to the instructions, you need about 16 to 18 hours of grow light for whatever you're growing. Again, will be a hit and a miss kind of thing. We'll see what happens. And so we're giving it a try. And, well, who knows? I'm hoping it works on the herbs because, you know, my little experiment with bringing the basil indoors and trying to get it to grow, well, it died. It did not last at all with that. I don't think it was getting enough light the whole bit. We'll see if this works, how this works out. So anyways, I'll keep you posted on it. And by the way, it's not really crooked and lopsided. It was my picture taking skills that make it look like it's crooked. So, yep, that's the newest toy that we bought, and that's about it that we've got this week. So what about the 3D printing? Well, so I'm at a stage now where I think I've exhausted a lot of the possibilities with 3D printing. I got rid of, when we had the new doors and windows put in, you know, I had a lot of the 3D prints that I had done on 3D printed shelves on my far wall in this room, and that's the stuff I put up with the command hooks and command strips, and it all kind of stripped the crap off my walls. So I'm not doing that again. But I was looking at these things, and they were things I made when I first got the 3D printers, and so they are a lot of little junky trinkets. So guess where the little junky trinkets are now? Pretty much went to landfill. Yeah, I hope they're biodegradable. I think they are. But anyways, yeah. So now I'm at a quandary. What do I want to make next? I don't know. I don't need any more trinkets. I don't need any statues of figures from, you know, Dungeons and Dragons and stuff like that, because I don't even play Dungeons and Dragons. So what's that all about? Finding decent practical prints? Well, there's lots of parts and upgrades you can print for your 3D printers, but other things, no, because you have to remember this is plastic, and so if it's anything that's going to have needs to be really strong, it's not going to last. So I don't know. I don't know what to do. My printers are sitting idle. Now, I just made something the other day, had this idea. I saw somebody had taken coffee mugs like this and made them into lovely, attractive pincushions. Okay, you know about me and pin cushions, right? Got a lot of them. You can see some over my shoulder up there on the top shelf, my fabric shelf. There's a whole bunch of pin cushions there that I've 3D printed. How many pin cushions does a person need? And I've given some away, believe me, and I will continue to do so. But then I like the idea, like I was thinking, I have these mugs, right, that I had made, the Idiot Quilter, and this would look really good as a pin cushion. But these are not cheap to make. No. So I got this idea. I wonder if I can find a 3D model for a coffee mug. And yes, I could. And I did. And I printed one. And I don't know what I'm going to do with it. My initial idea was I'll make it into a pin cushion, but I want to put like a label like this. Make, my logo label and put it on the side of the cup. But I'm not really sure how I'm going to go about doing that. So I'm still playing with possibilities. But that's the operative here on 3D printers, is I'm playing. Now, I've even played with the idea of buying another more elaborate 3D printer. But then I'm thinking, the three I've got are working okay. I'm comfortable with them. And what am I going to do with the bigger 3D printer? Make bigger 3D things that are basically trinkets? So I am at a standoff with these. What can I do? What can I make that's useful? I do not need a house full of 3D printed objects. I don't. I already have too many of them. You can see them behind me. And there's other ones, and I got rid of a lot too. So there's the quandary. I don't know. Maybe you have some ideas. I don't know. I'm open to suggestions. Okay, so that takes me to the fourth part of the Rottnest Island. Now, I keep telling you about the quokkas. I'm obsessed with quokkas. They're so cute, those little animals. I think there were some shots of the quokkas in part 3. I know there's a shot of a quokka up close and personal in part 4. So here's the last one in this series on Rottnest Island, off the coast of Perth.
Underwater snorkel trail. No boats are allowed inside there, no fishing's allowed. And the underwater snorkel trail will identify the various species of fish and grasses, as well as corals. Now that's one of 5 marine sanctuaries. That sanctuary spreads right the way around to the next bay and into the largest of the bays on the island. Now 2 days ago at this time it was dead flat, not a ripple on the wave. So you're safe inside. You can see the reef is protecting you all the time. So inside there, ideal to swim and snorkel, only a couple of meters deep, 2 or 3 meters deep. So. So this is the most popular bay on the island. It's got 2 chicks inside it and they're very good at fishing. It's great to watch them catch the fish in their claws, the adults. There's one just by the side here. There's one down here. There's a little one here. Still there?
Coming out.
So here they do tend up this particular spot tend to wake up a little bit earlier. So we're only going to see another 9,979. Oh, there, I love this couple over there. Just down there. It's pretty young. So this was built from limestone quarried from just a little bit further up, about a kilometre and a half, and brought up here by horse and cart, and every individual block was cut to size. So this is the highest point on the island. Now you can, if you want, take a quick photograph here, but then we'll have to, you know, you want to go down and take some of the quokkas down there. So if you want to quickly, there's only one over there. You'll get a lot around the other side. If you want to take a quick photo here, being up here.
So this is called Cathedral Rock, and this is where the seals hang out. See any?
Oh yeah, see that one's coming out. Oh, do it here. About 5 feet high.
You see it? I don't see it.
Well, there's supposed to be seals out there somewhere.
But I can't see it. Where in the center? Oh, I see them. Yeah, they're there.
Look, there's a quokka right on your shoulder.
Oh, you're so cute. You are cute. Aren't you cute? Okay, you'll never be able to hear this because we're in a place having dinner. Same place we had lunch a couple of days ago, Churchill's, because quite frankly, finding a place to eat in Perth is very different from trying to find a place to eat in our country. So most of it seems to be liquid based. So we're having a steak sandwich and a pint of yak.
Wild yak.
Wild yak. Wild yak. Wild yak.
Well, maybe that's after you have too many pints.
Yeah. Too many pints and you're a wild yak.
And that takes us to events in the past week. So we had Craft and Chat this week, and always a fun time, great time. Next one will be the first Wednesday in December, and I keep meaning to look up the date for that, and I haven't yet. So, well, you know how a calendar works, right? So it's the first Wednesday. So there'll be more about that in future videos. I got a flu shot. Yep, I get one every year. So I went and got mine, and actually it was pretty efficient this time because I walked into Shoppers Drug Mart pharmacy, and it says you need an appointment, and I'm walked in and I see, ooh, there's about 5 people sitting there waiting for their shot. And in past years, what's happened is the pharmacist gives you the shot, but the pharmacist is busy doing other things, and so it's at his whim. So you could be there for quite a while before you get the shot. But I figured, okay, I'm here. I'm going to wait it out. I'm going to get the shot. Now, there was some confusion because I am 65. So when you're 65 or older here in the province of Ontario, there is a more, I don't know what you want to call it, potent flu shot you can get. It's better protection because, we're old, we're frail. You blow on us, we fall over, whatever. But so I said, when I went in, can I get that one? And she told me, oh, we don't have it. So I figured, well, big deal. I'll just get the regular flu shot. That's what I've always got, and it's always been fine. So I went, I filled out the form, gave it back to him, sat down. Well, within about 5 minutes or so, I got called in to get the shot. I guess they have finally figured out that it's more efficient to have one qualified person giving the shots instead of one person who's qualified but doing 1,000 other jobs. And that made things a lot smoother. And so she says to me as she's giving me the shot, okay, so you got the over 65 shot. And I went, I did. I was told out there you don't have any. And then she said something to me. She says, oh, the one you're getting right now is much better. It covers more things. Okay, now I'm really confused, but I just figured, whatever, I've got it in my arm. I've got something, because I don't know what she was talking about either. I mean, I know what the one is they say that for 65 and over is supposed to do, but I was told that the one part they didn't have any of those, and this one's telling me that that's what she's given me, but she's then saying, I don't know. The other problem was she had a little bit of an accent, and you know me with accents, I don't understand people. So I said, okay, that's great. Thank you. Have a nice day. Goodbye. So anyways, I have the flu shot. And Walter got his 5th COVID shot booster, which I already got mine a few weeks ago. But the reason Walter couldn't get his a few weeks ago is because he had just gotten the hepatitis B shot. And they say they want you to wait 2 weeks between various shots. So Walter now has that, and in a couple of weeks' time, he can go and get his flu shot as well. I mean, 'tis the season, isn't it? It seems like every month we're getting a shot with something. Well, hopefully these work. Okay, so I guess I'm up to date on all of my vaccinations and whatnot. Okay, so what else happened this week? Well, Sean, of the guy who sews, had a sew session on Saturday afternoon, and there were a few of us there, and it was a good time. It always is. And it's really great that I see that other creators on YouTube who do sewing, quilting, and crafting are having these Zoom gatherings. I think the more to choose from, the better. It's the one thing I think that's been good that's come out of COVID is Zoom, and how we are now creating these communities online that we normally would not be able to have done if we didn't have something like Zoom. I think it really makes the world a smaller place. Whether that's good or bad, I'm not sure. But you meet a whole lot of other people from other areas that you would never meet otherwise. And it's a collaboration of ideas. People all come, like, we're all in the same niche kind of a thing. In the case of the ones I go to, we're sewers, we're quilters, and it's nice to be with your own kind of a thing. So I'm really loving this, and I embrace the idea of more creators doing this kind of thing. It may get to the point where it'll be hard to pick and choose what you want to do. but there's lots of them out there, so you never ever have to feel alone in your creative endeavor, unless you want to be alone. Okay, and there's that choice as well. So Sean had this, and he's going to do one he says he's planning on. Don't hold me or him to this idea, because you have to wait and see how it works out. But he's thinking of doing one the first Saturday of every month, but start them at 8 p.m. in the evening. Well, for me, that's not quite as good. Not saying I couldn't get to one, but Saturday nights are not my night for sewing. Okay, they're my nights to have dinner with Walter, probably watch some TV or whatever, and drink copious amounts of wine. Just saying, you know. But anyways, I say great, go for it, Sean. I am sure there are lots of people that would be just a perfect time for them. And he's putting it at that time because he's trying to appeal to the different time zones, which basically is hitting your head against a wall, I think, because you can't please everybody, and it has nothing to do with them. It has everything to do with where they live with it. But anyways, bully for Sean. And I am going this weekend on Saturday. Walter's instructor for his sewing classes is holding another sew day at the club, as we call it, here in our area. It's just during the day kind of a thing, and it's a freebie kind of thing. So I'm going to go with him this time. I'm going to work on a quilt or something, and most of the people that go to this are not quilters. Actually, I think I'll be the only one that's be a quilter. The rest are garment sewing or making costuming for drag shows, things like that. Did I mention that the club is a gay club where it is? Not that that matters or anything, and it's not all people from the LGBTQ community that are doing the sewing. It's a variety of people as well. But it's kind of like going to a retreat, but you don't have to stay overnight, and it just might be nice to sew in a different environment than at home. I know that if I didn't go on that Saturday with it, and Walter seems to be acceptable to the idea that I attend. I didn't know if he would be. He likes to be with his people as well, kind of a thing. But he seemed to be okay with the whole idea. So otherwise, I would have had a pop-up sew day. Because he'd be gone to that, I'd be home alone. So time for pop-up sew day. So sorry, I'm not. I'm going off to this instead. I think I am. If my plans change, I'll let you know. Okay. Yeah, and what's coming up? I have 3 interviews scheduled for this week. I have 1 this morning. I have 2 on Friday. So over the next 2-3 weeks, you're going to see some interviews because I haven't had any in a while. And I still have a few more feelers out there for interviews as well. So we'll see what happens with all of that. And of course, on Friday here in Canada, and don't think in the States, they don't have it, but here in Canada, it is our Remembrance Day, November the 11th. So, honor our veterans, wear a poppy, show your support, because they're another group of people in this world that deserve recognition and respect as well. It's the least we can do for them. Okay, so I hope you have a great week. Idiot Quilter will be up tomorrow. So Chatty on Friday. I hope Friday's a busy day for that. And Stephen and Walter live next Sunday. So lots there to keep you entertained. Yes, whatever. Have a good week. Talk to you later.